There's only one thing wrong with Jamie Oliver's wish that Canada will adopt a tax on sugar. Namely, it won't accomplish any of its stated objectives. Chef Oliver is self-described as a healthy food advocate, and for some bizarre reason, the Globe and Mail recently published a column by Oliver that begins with the words, "Dear Canada," so you just know there's a whole lot of bad news to follow. His column was on obesity. I'm not sure why Oliver would preach to Canadians about obesity, given that he hails from the UK, where the obesity rate is almost the same as Canada's, about 30%. In any event, Oliver goes on to lecture us Canucks on our tubby ways, alleging that obesity costs Canada between 4.6 to 7.1 billion annually in health costs and lost productivity. Well, fair enough, but here's where I begin to lose the plot. Oliver states that, quote, "Many people feel obesity is about personal responsibility and sorting yourself out, but that's not true," end quote. Actually, that is true for the most part. Now, as I've stated previously, I could stand to lose at least 20 pounds. Yeah, I'm fat, and trust me, the only reason I'm not circus fat is by keeping my sweet tooth in check and getting my butt on a bicycle for exercise. This sometimes can make me miserable, but that can be the price of personal responsibility one pays. Now, Chef Oliver goes on to note that this is a, quote, "really exciting time for Canada. Your government is on the precipice of putting together a properly joined up, logical childhood obesity strategy, one that touches all parts of the food environment, businesses, schools, the workplace, food companies, and parents, asking everyone to do something to make a difference and break the cycle," end quote. But Oliver bemoans that there's a massive piece missing in the Canadian government's anti-obesity plan, an absence of a tax on sugary drinks. He notes that France, Hungary, Mexico, and Norway all have a so-called soft drink tax, and he says in all these places it's working. But is it really? Because there's plenty of evidence indicating that a sugar tax does little to improve obesity rates. For example, a recent story in The Guardian examined several arguments against a sugar tax. For example, in 2011, Denmark introduced a tax on foods high in saturated fat. A year later, it abolished the so-called fat tax and dropped plans for a sugar tax, saying the former had encouraged consumers to cross into Germany to shop, unintentionally raising the price of everyday food items while failing to change eating habits. And the city of Berkeley, California has a soda tax, but only 22% of Berkeley's soda tax is passed on to consumers, and the measure's impact, as a consequence, fizzled out, according to a study by Cornell University. Now, there are many other examples from other jurisdictions indicating that a sugar tax does sweet all, and we all know that the oppressive taxes on tobacco have only resulted in so many smokers seeking out tax relief by buying contraband cigarettes from native reserves. In Ontario alone, 1/3 of all cigarettes sold are tax-free contraband. And we also know that whenever a specific commodity is taxed, the tax revenues raised seldom go toward fixing the problem. The taxes on gasoline, for example, were supposed to go toward building new roads and maintaining existing ones. Well, surprise, surprise, all those billions of dollars raised over the decades instead went into that nebulous bureaucratic black hole known as general revenues. And another thing, if sugar is going to be subjected to a new sin tax when it comes to the war on obesity, then what about tax relief when it comes to purchasing goods and services that contribute to a healthier lifestyle? What about making everything from sporting goods and bicycles to fitness club memberships tax-free? Well, fat chance getting that measure approved by this tax-happy federal government. So I'm terribly sorry, Chef Oliver. We're already taxed enough in this particular dominion. Please stop pestering us to adopt a soda tax. We simply don't want it, even if you say pretty please with sugar on top. For the Rebel.Media, I'm David the Menzoid Menzies. Hey folks, we have a brand new fall lineup. Please go to the Rebel.Media/shows and check it out.